Jonathan Dahlen. Okay, I'm sorry, let's just go with Jonathan Dahlen. My voice is kind of worn out. I've been on air for the entire week. I was the play-by-play commentator for the Sockeyes, and I've just been talking a lot at school because, you know, it's a radio program. So I'm going to keep things a little bit mellow, a little bit closer to the microphone. Let's talk about former Vancouver Canucks and current San Jose Sharks prospect Jonathan Dahlen, and how, in my opinion, he's just too good for the Allsvenskan. Now, if you didn't know who Jonathan Dahlen was, that's okay. We'll go into a full history lesson in this video. I gotta fill out the gameplay somehow. So, let's go over just what exactly Jonathan Dahlen is doing right now as we speak. The last video I made about Dahlen, we talked about how he was going over back to Timrå in the Allsvenskan. The Timrå IK hockey club is one of the teams that Dahlen was able to help out in his career. The Allsvenskan is the second-tier pro league in Sweden, so it's underneath the SHL. It's pretty much almost like the AHL if you wanted to give it an NHL comparable, but pretty much the Allsvenskan is a pro hockey league. Now, just taking a look at the Allsvenskan right now, the Timrå IK at the time of this recording have 4 wins, 1 loss, 2 overtime wins in a total of 7 games played. They also have 23 total goals. Now, this is a stat that I don't really bring up on this channel all too much. It's goal percentage involvement. And pretty much you take the amount of points a player has, you take the amount of total goals the team has, and you divide it. So, if Connor McDavid has 100 points and the Edmonton Oilers score a total of 300 goals, Connor McDavid has a 33% involvement rate, which is really, really, really good. Jonathan Dahlen right now, playing on a Timrå team that only has 23 total goals for, has 15 points in 7 games. Jonathan Dahlen has an incredible involvement rate of 65%, which is completely unheard of. That is absolutely ridiculous, and Jonathan Dahlen is totally dominating this league. Let's go to the all-time points per game of Allsvenskan players, and you can see that Jonathan Dahlen is 3rd. All time. And this is a list that includes all these dumb examples that only have 1 or 2 games played. Jonathan Dahlen, realistically, is one of the best Allsvenskan players of all time if he keeps up this 2.14 points per game pace. The guy's an absolute beast. He's 1st in Allsvenskan points, not surprisingly. The guy who's 2nd, it's Albin Lundin, who's his teammate on the Timrå IK. So, Jonathan Dahlen is just really in a position where he's going to be dominating this league. Let's look at Albin Lundin's stats here. Take a look at him. He has 14 games in 7 Allsvenskan games. The last time he was in the Allsvenskan, 2017-18, he had 16 points all year. From 16 points in 51 games to 14 points in 7 games. Jonathan Dahlen is a drug, and he's helping this Timrå team do extraordinarily well because he's just too good for this league. Way, way too good. So, who exactly is Jonathan Dahlen? This is the history lesson let's go over now. So if you don't know who Dahlen is, there's a lot of new subscribers on the channel, so I can understand if you don't know. Jonathan Dahlen was a former Ottawa Senators draft pick. He was drafted in the 2nd round, 42nd overall, by the Ottawa Senators. Some draft rankings had Dahlen as high as a mid-20s pick. Some had him as a 1st rounder, but for the most part, he was mostly around that 2nd round spot because in his draft year, Jonathan Dahlen was a pretty good player. He played the full season with the Allsvenskan with the Timrå IK, and he got 29 points. So yeah, Dahlen today, at 21 years of age, is playing for the same team that he played for in his draft year. So yeah, and in his draft plus 1 year with the Timrå IK, he was an absolute star. 45 games played, 44 points, just under a point per game. He was playing with a then 17, turning 18-year-old Elias Pettersson, and they were the duo there. They were so good, they were just incredible. Pettersson was just under a point per game too. He was an absolute beast alongside of Jonathan Dahlen, and these two formed the duo in Timrå. At the end of that season, Elias Pettersson was drafted 5th overall by the Canucks, and he went to the SHL's Vancouver Lakers the next year. As for Dahlen, he got traded from the Ottawa Senators to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for an aging Alex Burrows, who went on to help the Senators in their playoff run. Keep in mind, that was the year they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. This wasn't the Ottawa Senators that we know and love today. So Jonathan Dahlen's joining up with a new NHL team this time. It's the team that his best partner in Timrå was drafted by just a few months ago. And now, he's going into the training camp, he's going over to the Utica Comets, and he's going to be great, but oh no, he has mono, he has to go back to Sweden. Oh no. Now at this point, Pettersson's in Växjö. He's doing his thing in the SHL. He's being really good. He's breaking the records, and he's becoming the best SHL junior player ever. Dahlen had chances to go to the SHL. They were opportunities for him, but he said no. He stayed in Timrå because he loved Timrå. He grew up playing for Timrå, and he wanted to help the Timrå IK advance so far up that they could make the SHL. Because if you don't know, the teams that are really, really good in the Allsvenskan can get replaced by the teams that are really, really bad in the SHL, and it's kind of like a tier system. If you're really, really good in the Allsvenskan, you will get promoted to the SHL, which is the prime Swedish hockey league. And he wanted to help the Timrå IK do that. So he stayed. He stayed with Timrå, posted 44 points in 44 games, which is a very slight improvement over what he did the previous year in 2016-17, except he wasn't playing with Elias Pettersson, so that made things significantly harder. But that was okay, because Dahlen still forced Timrå into getting into the SHL. He had 14 points in 10 games in the qualification tournament, and Timrå was in the SHL the next year. Except without Dahlen. Because at this point, Dahlen, he didn't have mono anymore, he didn't have a setback. He went over to North America. Played for the Utica Comets. 29 points in 50 games played. He was a good rookie, and he was a good offensive talent. However, the unexpected happened at the 2019 trade deadline. He was traded over to the San Jose Sharks. Playing for the Barracuda, 4.7 games played. He was injured too. And reports started leaking out saying that, okay, Dahlen wasn't necessarily happy with his time in Utica. He felt that he should have been given a better opportunity. Now, these are just reports. These are not confirmed. I've made a whole bunch of videos about Jonathan Dahlen and covering everything that the media has been saying about this player ever since the trade happened. The Vancouver Canucks in return get Linus Karlsson, who's looking to be a pretty okay NHL prospect. But Jonathan Dahlen apparently is unhappy. And at the end of the 2018-19 season, he makes a decision. He's going back to the Timrå IK. Now, in the season for Timrå, 2018-19, where Jonathan Dahlen wasn't with them, Timrå was really, really, really bad in the SHL. So they got demoted back into the Allsvenskan, which is where they are today, and where Jonathan Dahlen is tearing up the league. And now we're taking a look at this 21-year-old player who reportedly is looking for a desire to playing hockey again. And we're taking a look at it. He went back to the Timrå IK, and he's just totally having fun over there, I assume. I mean, it's probably really fun getting 2 points a game, right? Right? I'd probably assume that's pretty fun. But for now, Jonathan Dahlen is still an NHL prospect. He's a guy that a lot of Canucks fans thought had elite first-line potential. And we were like, damn, we got this guy for Burrows. That's awesome. But now he's a Shark. Now he's a Timrå IK once again. And the timeline of NHL future is dwindling down. This next year is going to be really, really beneficial for Dahlen if he does get his mojo back. But at the same time, man, playing in the Allsvenskan is not as good as playing in the AHL, in my opinion at least. So we'll see where Dahlen's career takes him. It's good that he's having fun, and it's good that he's being successful. But as an NHL prospect, one may question the result of this move. Hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.